Panjavarnam, Assistant Professor of Commerce, V.V. Vanni Perumal College for Women, Virudhunagar. In this video, we will see about the marginal costing, definition and features of marginal costing and various terms used in marginal costing. Introduction. Marginal costing is one of the important powerful tool in the hands of management for making various decisions. It guides the management in pricing and decision making and assessment of the profitability. It reveals the interrelationship between cost, profit and volume of profit. Definition of marginal costing. According to ICMA England, marginal cost is the amount at any given volume of output by which aggregate costs are changed if the volume of output is increased or decreased by 1 unit. For example, the firm produce 1000 units and the marginal cost come to rupees 10,000, then the marginal cost per unit of the product is rupees 10. If the volume of output is increased by 1 unit, that is 1001 unit, then the marginal cost, the total cost will be rupees 10,010 rupees. That is, the extra cost is also known as the marginal cost. That is, the additional cost required for producing one more unit is called as marginal cost. This, for increasing or decreasing one more unit, what will be the change in the total cost? That is, variable cost is known as, that is, the extra amount is for producing one unit is known as the marginal cost for producing a product. Then, marginal costing. Marginal costing is defined as the ascertainment of marginal cost and of the effect on the profit of changes in volume or type of output by differentiating between fixed costs and variable costs. That is, here in marginal costing is a broad term. It includes, we have to determine the marginal cost for a product. Not only determine or calculate the marginal cost, but also we have to calculate or find out the impact of profit if there is change in the volume or type of output. While calculating the changes, we have to make a difference between fixed costs and variable costs. Features of marginal costing. All costs are classified into fixed costs and variable costs. Here in marginal costing, it is the cost, all the costs are classified into fixed and variable costs. And only the variable costs are treated as the cost of the product. Here we have to take into account only the variable costs. And fixed costs are excluded while calculating the cost. That is, the total cost includes both variable cost and fixed cost, but for marginal cost calculation purpose, variable cost only treated as the cost of the product. And the stock of the finished goods and the work in progress are valued at marginal cost only. That is, here the stock or that is the stock of finished goods or work in progress are valued at only the marginal cost, not at the total cost. And fixed costs are charged against the contribution earned during the period. So, fixed costs are not taken into account for marginal cost calculation purpose. They are charged from the contribution earned by the company during a particular period. So, how to calculate the contribution? So, the contribution is the difference between the selling price and the variable cost. And in marginal costing, prices are based on the marginal cost plus contribution. These are the important features of marginal costing. Next, there are various important concepts used in marginal costing. They are fixed cost, variable cost, contribution margin of safety, angle of incidence, profit volume ratio, break-even point. First, fixed costs. Expenses that do not vary with the volume of output are known as fixed costs. That is, because of this cost, the total fixed expenses are not at all affected by the volume of output. Example for the fixed cost: manager salary, rent, taxes, insurance, salary, etc. And fixed charges are fixed only within a certain limit of output or with limited plant capacity. If we will increase the volume of output or plant capacity beyond a certain point, it will also subject to change. Then the fixed costs are most useful in formulating the pricing policies, or while fixing the pricing, these fixed costs are taken into account. And fixed cost per unit is not fixed, but it remains constant in total. That is, fixed cost won't change in total, but while calculating the cost per unit, fixed cost per unit, it will vary. So, per unit will vary, but it remains constant in total. Second concept, term used, the important term in the marginal costing is the variable cost. Expenses that vary almost in direct proportion to the volume of production or sales are called variable expenses. The example for variable expenses are material cost, power, fuel, packing material, and consumable stores. And variable cost per unit is fixed, but it will vary with the proportion of production or volume of output. Next concept is contribution. Contribution is the difference between the sales and the variable cost. Difference between the sales and the variable cost. And the contribution contributes towards the fixed cost and the profit. And it is helpful in framing the sales policy and pricing policies. And it is also useful in measuring the profitability of different proposals. And it is a real acid test used to test whether the product is worthwhile to be continued among different products or to be discontinued. Then the formula for calculating contribution is equal to sales minus variable cost. That is, C is equal to S minus V. It is in another way also it is calculated. That is, contribution is equal to fixed cost plus profit. That is, C is equal to F plus P. That is, maybe S minus V or F plus P. The next important concept is margin of safety. Margin of safety refers to the excess of sales over the break-even sales. Excess of sales over the break-even sales. It can be expressed in absolute amount or as a percentage. It indicates the extent to which sales can be reduced without resulting in loss. A larger the margin of safety, the soundness of the firm is strong. Then the formula for calculating margin of safety is equal to present sales minus break-even sales. Present sales minus break-even sales. Then it is also calculated in another way. That is, profit by PV ratio. Profit by PV ratio. In two ways we can calculate the margin of safety. That is, present sales minus break-even sales or profit by PV ratio. And it can be improved by taking the following steps. Margin of safety can be improved by increasing the production or by increasing the selling price, or reducing the fixed cost or variable cost, or substituting the unprofitable product with the profitable product. The next concept, angle of incidence. This is the angle formed in between the sales line and the total cost line at the break-even point, and it indicates the profit earning capacity of the firm. And the larger the angle of incidence, the larger will be the profit, and the small angle indicate a lower rate of earning. And to improve this angle, contributions should be increased either by raising the selling price or by reducing the variable cost. Then next important term in marginal costing is profit volume ratio. Profit volume ratio. It is also known as PV ratio. It is one of the important ratio for studying the profitability of the business. The ratio of contribution to sales, that is, it indicates the relationship between the contribution and sales. That is, the ratio between contribution and sales is the PV ratio. It may be expressed as a percentage. For every organization, try to improve the PV ratio of each product by reducing the variable cost per unit or by increasing the selling price per unit. And it helps in determining break-even point, profit at any volume of output, or sales volume required to earn a desired amount of profit. These are the three uses of PV ratio. That is, it helps to calculate break-even point and profit at any volume of output and sales required to earn a desired profit. And the next one, break-even point. Break-even point refers to the point where total cost is equal to total revenue. That is, total cost is equal to total revenue. It is the point of no profit or no loss. And this is also the minimum point of production where total costs are recovered. If sales go up beyond the break-even point, the organization makes the profit. And if they come down, the loss will be incurred for the organization. Thank you.